Just a disclaimer guys, this documentary was filmed before Russell Martin has inevitably gone to Southampton as it stands. If you are seeing this clip, he's probably gone. If you're not, then he's having. So enjoy the documentary, up the Swans. Russell Martin's first season as Swansea City manager was going to be nothing special. It was all about rebuild and organisation, and once again reuniting a fan base that when together can be something special. This time round is different. Old faces have gone, new faces have shown. Some left for the better good, some left for the better worse. More drama, more trouble, and most importantly, a double-double. But what about the season as a whole? What do fans really think about this season? What has gone wrong for the Swans? It makes you think, what about those points dropped? What could have been for the Swans? Was it the owners? Was it Martin that caused this? What has caused the ultimate Swansea blip?
We're so grateful for the way you started. So grateful for
This season has been nothing short of last-minute defeats and brutal results, when clearly sides were levels above us. We signed Nathan Wood and Harry Darling from them clubs Middlesbrough and MK Dons respectively, which we'll talk about later. But those last-minute results really were the pinnacle of our season.
It's probably the most aggravated I've felt watching the Swans. As far as, I suppose being a season ticket holder, when you go to watch the Swans, you don't really you never go there thinking you're going to lose the game last minute, especially at home. And I think this has to be the most we've ever done it this year, right? I don't think in any other season we've given the game away this late, this many times at home. So I guess now I'm a lot less angry, but that happens every time you finish the season. Every time you finish the season, you look where you are, you go, whatever.
It was a concerning pattern for us Swans fans. Fans questioning, were we overconfident coming into this season? Was the pressure piling on the players early in the season perhaps? All those questions were all foretold.
I get, I don't know, I went to Rotherham, sort of excited, and I think a lot of us had our hopes up, massively, right? I looked at the signings that we had made, and I think I got a little too excited. And away to Rotherham, first game of the year, honestly, I thought we were going to wipe the floor with them, to be honest. And then it was a sort of sobering return to football. I was like, this isn't the most exciting game. It's a stadium half the size of ours. It was a reminder what an away day is in the Championship, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, I enjoyed, but immediately a Harry Darling wonder goal was unbelievable. I loved it, right? I know, I was just I was thinking, for Harry Darling to score on his first game, I was like, oh, here we go now. First game of the season, I was thinking, yeah, we've got what it takes. Especially if we get a 1-1 and we get it from someone we didn't expect. Nobody tells a defender to go out and score. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, particularly that, how annoying it is because if you can remember, all the defenders that open goal chance, it's so vital. Looking back on that now, that 3 points could have been something.
Oh yeah.
To change the season.
But the thing is, it's really hard to tell ourselves that to pick one moment in which we could have changed everything, because there's so many of them. So then, do you start reasoning with yourself and going, we are where we deserve to be? we've got so many little moments that were massive, and like if half of them had gone our way, like last minute losses and stuff, or that not being able to get into any rhythm at the very start of the season, could that have, you know, could that have been our, you know, playoff push? Could, I think, what was it, 3 points we needed in the end to be in the playoffs, wasn't it? So like a win against Rotherham, it's not all going to do it, but it's 2 points closer. I don't know, I think, but to answer your question, the beginning of the season for me was like, it was a lot of like expectations being shot down, and it was a lot of like, okay, don't forget we are Swansea City, don't forget we still haven't fixed all our problems, don't forget, like that's how I started to feel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. From your view, what was it like from the start of the season, so like August, September, from that day rather to back on the games?
Yeah, well, with Rotherham, just got promoted after the championship. I was sort of going into that game expecting to win, like anyone should do really with a newly promoted team. I'm sure they wouldn't be expecting to win either, but to have that draw as the first game of the season wasn't the best. Obviously, Harry Darling with an absolute beautiful goal, but I know, but class goal. But I would definitely can be. We've shown it before that from Luton, from earlier on the season, it wasn't the best games to watch, but when we played them later on in the season then, we could have definitely beat them. Whether that's changes of the team or whatever, but as soon as they got that first goal, all they did was sit back and we could have easily beat them. Seeing that goal go in, it really got us back into the game because I was watching it on the TV, wasn't able to go, but we move. We move. But yeah, seeing that first goal go in gave us a bit of hope so that we could get another one. And then, wait, was it Nicham or Obafemi get the winning goal?
So it was Encham the only goal.
Was it?
Yeah.
We did?
1-1
Oh, I thought they went 1-0 up. Oh, right, never mind. But,
yeah, no worries. Just
Go. You know it's going to be a long season when the majority of your games are conceding last minute winners to sides you should be really beaten. Take this one for example, 2-0 up against Millwall on a Tuesday night, and going into the 90th minute they had one shot on target. Seems pretty impossible to bottle, right? Wrong. 2 own goals from Ben Cabango and Nathan Wood bottled the Swans a 2-0 lead. And then this one happened. Rhian Brewster set up Reda Cadra for Sheffield United, which bottled us a point against Sheffield United, who, as the season went on, got promoted.
I've never been so frustrated at a football game in my life. It's like, not even if they were too late goals from their team, but to have 2 own goals. And yeah, I said it, walking out of that stadium, it was hard. It was hard. I didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do, but it was.
do you know, someone referred it to on Twitter. They
Right.
said it was as if like you're against your mate, your mate is battering your FIFA,
Yeah.
or your friend, whatever. But you decided to take it to a penalty shootout, concede last.
It's literally like that, isn't it?
It's literally like that.
But yeah,
It's nuts.
it is nuts. But
What about that Sheffield United game? What was it? What's that?
it was frustrating because at the time they were playing really good, but for us to do so well against a team like that we had the chance of winning, and which we should have at least got a draw out of, for them to concede last minute of the game, it really put it down on the whole game because we played so well in that game that we at least deserved a point. But to not get anything out of that game, it was disappointing.
Yeah, but
You know when you're as angry as every week, but those losses, which ones did you say specifically?
Millwall and Sheffield United, so like when we can see
Yeah. Millwall, I could have ripped my seat off the metal, I swear to God. But Sheffield, I think, was even worse because we matched them and played so well against a team that were ripping it up and expected to go up. So I can't really decide which one I was more annoyed at. Do you know what I mean? Like, are you more annoyed to give it away against Millwall, who you shouldn't be giving away at all in the first place, especially when you're up, like all these different factors, or is it more annoying to play incredible football against an incredible team and lose it? I can't decide. Like, I think it's two sides of the coin, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Although this season was looking quite shaky to start with, you have to look at that unbeaten run we took, beating the likes of Sunderland and West Brom away from home. But in that period, we do lose to Burnley, but going into the Cardiff and Bristol City game, you looked like a side you didn't want to meet.
Yeah, having that win was big for ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How bad was the positive period from Hull to Bristol City? Well, obviously having one loss in there, which was Burnley, who quite frankly were the better side of the league.
Oh, 100%. No one was expecting to go into that game looking for a result, but no. But apart from that, between Hull and Hull home, was it? Yeah, what a result that was. First goal, yeah, from a bad defensive point from.
Striking for the first time.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, from Hillsborough, and that was his first goal since, is it?
I think so, yeah.
It might have been because
Was Burnley away October? Yeah. Oh my God, that's ages ago now.
Yeah, it was.
It's so weird. Like, I always forget like where the games are. Like when you try and do as many as you can, you just kind of forget what month they were in. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but like obviously, looking back at Burnley, compared to like the results we had around that time, you look at the results against Reading,
Yeah.
Cardiff,
I think the mood at that point in the season, I mean, I think if you want to talk about this point in the season now, right, where that Burnley loss came out of nowhere, I think the best way to sum it up would be to talk to anyone who was getting back on the bus at Burnley. Like, everyone getting back on the bus was like, nah, well, like, battered, but nobody was like raging, angry, like not even a fraction of what you would get when we gave the points away to Sheffield or Millwall. Do you know what I mean? People were coming out to that stadium at home, screaming, tamping, like just absolutely bouncing.
I think with Burnley, we knew what to expect.
Yeah.
New Vincent Company side, new signings. You've got you like to Nathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, destroyed
Which
the back of our right.
I think it sums up that period, like coming out everyone, and I'm pretty sure you could ask most of the fans about that day, coming away from Burnley, 4-0, long drive, going, you know, they are unbelievable. And we were played completely off the field. One of our players was literally sent off the field. Like, we couldn't have done it.
Which
It's
was
just,
our top striker.
yeah, so like, I don't know. That period, I think, is best summed up by not caring about such a harsh Burnley loss because we were playing well regardless. Do you know what I mean? In other games. So I think, again, but I don't know. So I'm sure some fans might say the Burnley loss was a reminder that we're not perfect and that we can still get absolutely spanked.
So we then proceeded into a period where picking up points became a bit of a struggle for the Swans. Bristol City, Birmingham, Preston, Wigan, all dropping points against those teams, which we should have been looking to pick up 3 points in all those games. But were we questioning whether we had been figured out? Was the system too obvious now? All those questions were soon unravelling.
I don't know. I'll have to figure that
Yeah, nice.
How disappointing was it to just see us drop points after such a positive period? Obviously, dropping points against Wigan, went down we're the worst side in the league, frankly. Birmingham, obviously another last minute. Preston, that goal from Brian Potts, seeing the victory for them. How difficult was it seeing them results?
It was difficult, especially for Wigan and Preston, because they would go 1-0 up and then they would just sit back. But the amount of chances we had in those games to bring it back that we couldn't take, from Freddie Woodman saving the team, quite frankly. Typical Swans there.
It was actually from going back to when Woodman was with us, he was actually really weak again. It was his first loan, if I'm correct, it was his first loan.
Yeah.
And I was under Steve Cooper as well.
Yeah.
Freddie Woodman obviously saved Preston that day.
Yeah.
I remember that man, one of those last minute chances, man, and
it's
just cleared it off the line. How do you reflect on those results?
Thinking back, because end of the season now, thinking back, they were definitely games that we could have won, but there were more winnable games there, especially the ones that we conceded last minute. But you got to think back now and think, what if we had won those games? Where would we have ended up? But frustrating, yes, but it's not much you can do about that.
It's not much you can do with it.
Exactly.
Look at the likes of Wigan, who, you expect us to be beaten. Birmingham City, obviously, another 90th minute winner there. In that November period, obviously you were there at Preston, the only midweek we saw Brian Potts turn in a goal, which we could argue we could have won that game. The amount of chances we had, but Freddie Woodman did obviously stop us.
But losing games never felt like when we lose a game, when we've lost a game this season, other than Burnley, no loss felt like we got absolutely battered and demolished and run through. Do you know what I mean? At some point we put up a fight. At some point we look like we're going to score. No one fixture stands out to me other than Burnley as just a complete, demolished, us just getting completely destroyed. And I think that's the hardest thing for most fans to take, is reminding yourselves that you are actually a good team. You can actually take it to people. We've never been out of the mix in terms of, how the championship looks. What's happened to us has happened to everyone else this year. Do you know what I mean? Except the top six, obviously.
Go. Now we are getting to the actual main issue in the season, which is the middle part. We were going from a team which you didn't want to play to a team which you wanted to play. From where we were against West Brom, Reading, Sunderland, Cardiff, to playing like a League Two team, and it wasn't very helpful. Which had fans from Swansea question everything about the season, from top to bottom, from Martin to the owners. It was like the mood had gone from high to low in the season, from controversial YouTube videos to furious Twitter spaces to full-time boos. Everything was going wrong from a Swansea City perspective. Yes, the odd result got us believing. Watford 4-0, the Constantinople comeback, which is a hell of a day. What was even worse is that a reoccurring theme was coming back, the late goals and the drop in points. But when we played these teams once, it was never the same result the opposite time we played them.
How did the middle period go wrong for us?
Where do I start? Exactly. From January onwards, is it? Yeah. Well, January starting off.
Start off from obviously November, December, January, the famous 23.
Yeah.
As Mathew just said.
Yeah.
How do you even describe that?
I don't really know how I describe it really. It wasn't great. No, I haven't seen anything so, I don't want to say so bad, because that, I don't know, I just don't want to say that, but
You've seen us at the bottom, and surely that can, like, how does that compare to it?
almost as bad. But I think after that period, we start to show that we do need Martin, and that rough patch was just him trying to figure things out.
That middle, like January, you're talking about the 23, yeah? The 23 games.
Oh, the big 23.
Yeah, that's what we call it, like the 23. Because everyone was talking about 23 games, what was it, 3 wins in 23 games? Like, how do you break down what goes wrong there? I don't know. Like, everything. Everything. Like, giving away silly goals was probably the headline, wasn't it? It was, you know, letting teams score goals that were crap. Like, no team was beating us, going away going, amazing goals, fantastic goals. Do you know what I mean? Teams were going away from us going, we scraped it.
This season's caused ever so much controversy for Russell Martin, and especially the middle part, with some fans calling for the sacking of the man who got the double done. So why were so many fans keen to see him gone? Why were they so turned off about the system? What made them want the man who got the double gone?
Was sacking Russell Martin a thought in your head? Was there much pressure on him?
It wasn't much of a thought in my head, because you can see in games that you can see what he's trying to do, playing from the back, from the keeper to defenders, passing around in the back, drawing the attack in, leaving the middle open. You can see whenever it works, it can work. It can get us off the pitch. Obviously, it doesn't work every time, but that's still something to work on. But you can tell that it works, and you've just got to trust it. And although it's not everyone's cup of tea of playing style, some people want to just, whenever I'm in the stadium, I hear people around me just saying, boot it up, and yeah, maybe now and again to boot it up.
Yeah. Was sacking Russell Martin a thought in your head? Was there any pressure on him?
It's weird, isn't it? That's a funny question, that is, because like,
Looking back, it is.
like, I came home from, what was the, let me have a look at some of the later losses during that 23, because there was one where I came home and I said, a lot of people, this is what I said to my partner, I said, a lot of people are saying Russell out, and they've been saying it for weeks, and I said, I know, like, obviously, I believe in what he's doing, but I think it wasn't Sheffield, was it Birmingham at home?
Where we lost 4-3?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Birmingham,
Yeah, there we are, yeah, Birmingham, that was it. It was Birmingham where I came home, and I just sort of, because it was 90th minute and 97th minute, wasn't it? There we go. And
was a substitute, and he came on 2 minutes before.
Yeah, we gave that game away already on this horrific run, and I just I went home and I went through the door and I was like, look, I'll never be Martin out. I just won't. I think the way he talks, the way he cares about people, the way he cares about like mental health, the way he cares about looking at players as, you know, people, all this stuff, like, to me, it aligns with how I think people should be managed. But I did say, I got home, and after that really, really horrible loss, I said, if he goes, today is where I'll feel less gutted. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I don't care.
So even though some fans were against the man in charge, some fans were taking inspiration from a Premier League side like Arsenal and a side like Brighton, who stuck with their managers, Graham Potter and Mikel Arteta respectively. Yes, they had money, but obviously it's still a process, and at the end of the day, you've got to learn to stick with the man in charge. But the way Arsenal stuck with Arteta, even after many bad seasons with Arsenal, they still stuck with him. Now to the present day, Arsenal are challenging for the title, but I'm not in any way suggesting that Swansea will be challenging for the Premier League title in a matter of years to come. But I'm saying if we stick with Martin, he will give us the right tools to really go for promotion.
Can he
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we've shown this year that we can beat top teams like Sheffield. We could have beat them. Luton, who are now in the playoffs, we could have definitely beaten them.
They didn't really give us a game at that, I thought.
No, they got one lucky goal.
They got one lucky goal from Paulo.
Yeah, and a bit of bad goalkeeping by Fisher, but it happens.
Can Martin take us back? What are his plans?
Can Martin take us up to the Premier League?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he can. He's going to be a Premier League manager. I think anyone who says otherwise is, I don't know, weird. Yeah, anyone who says Russell Martin isn't capable of taking us back up, I mean, that's just nonsense, sorry.
Despite fan voice, nothing off the pitch was being helped either. January was nothing short of a disaster, with Swansea City making no signings, with a failed move for West Bromwich Albion striker Caroline Grant in the mixture of that. Despite that, it was a social media meltdown and helping nothing for Russell Martin in the season. In terms of targets, we needed a right back and a goalkeeper due to the injury of Stephen Bender. There wasn't much right back depth in there either, with Joel Latibordia not performing in that area. We got neither of them, and it was very not helpful for Russell Martin in terms of what he wanted to go for this season. It was enough trouble seeing Michael Obafemi leave, despite leaving himself out of the equation. Finn Stevens and Armstrong Flex both got recalled by their clubs respectively, with the two only making several appearances anyways.
Was there much of a transfer window? Right. No. No, I know. But getting rid of Obafemi, it was inevitable really. He's, ever since last summer, he hasn't wanted much in this team. You can tell from he went through parts of the season where he wasn't playing, wasn't in the squad, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, obviously. But it was inevitable that he was going to leave soon. Who else did we get rid of? Was it just Obafemi we got rid of?
It was Obafemi. Obviously, Flex,
Yeah.
all left when recalled.
Yeah, Flex, I was gutted to see him go, because at the time, I thought that he was the only player in our team that would be willing to take someone on in the attacking position rather than passing it back. But when I saw him go, I was like, that's a bit gutting, but obviously you got to do what's best for him, and it's just a shame we didn't give him much of a chance again.
I don't understand the January transfer window at all, because, you know, at the end of the season, who are the players that we're all happy with? A lot of them are players that we've been whinging about for most of the season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was looking at the player awards, and don't get me wrong, obviously Ryan Manning was just so consistent. But now I'm seeing, now that the season is over, I'm seeing people say, so Rinola has come good. And every week I've seen him getting stick. Latibordia, people are saying, yeah, brilliant player, willing to commit himself to the club. And I'm like, Martin's been saying this all year. All people that Martin has been interested in, all brought to the club, have at least shown up in some way or developed well. So in January, why wasn't he allowed to bring in more of those people? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Why? People say, you know, they waited till last minute to get a deal through, whatever it was. But the last couple of transfer windows, we've always done our business early, haven't we? Why was this one any different?
As previously mentioned, it was a difficult month for the Swans, with no investment and no signings, which mean the Swans had to take on the second half of the season without any investment at all.
How important was it that the fans backed the Swans during that period?
100%. Without backing the team, I mean, you probably saw that not there wasn't as much people watching the games as before, and you can imagine how that feels to the players, like going out and not seeing as much people as before.
Oh, massive. But we didn't always, did we?
Do you know what? I have something to say about this. The constant booze after we had the constant booze after we had Rotherham. Who else was at home that time?
It was loads, yeah. Like,
Birmingham. It's understandable.
yeah. But at the same time, I don't know what booing your fans at home does.
I'm booing the result, not the man.
Yeah. I think, but the problem is, right, I refuse to boo. Even when I'm raging, I refuse to boo at home, right? And
I see you at your lowest points, and you see me at my lowest points.
yeah, but I won't boo because, and I know it sounds daft, right, but I'm so superstitious. I hate the thought of like being a part of someone's reason for not staying. So like, you know, imagine like Ryan Manning's got his contract on the table, a better contract, and all he can think about is those days where the Swans just didn't stick behind him. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it could happen. I always think, like, imagine Russell Martin going, nah, fans don't care. And they'd be right, because like fans are so fickle sometimes. And like, I would hate to be a part of this crowd that sticks in people's head and makes them go, yeah, I'm off. I'd be like, oh my God.
And go. Birmingham, Blackburn, Blackpool and Sheffield United were next. The only win coming against Blackpool. The last minute winners coming against Blackburn and Birmingham. And the less said about Sheffield United, the better.
To put it simply, January was a month of, you know, things going wrong on the pitch and not being fixed by the owners. It's that simple, isn't it? That's how you can describe it.
How would I describe it? It was bad. It was terrible. How many games without a win? I don't know, but it was a lot. And it got to the point where you're almost forcing yourself to go watch them, and you shouldn't have to do that with your team. You shouldn't have, like, you should want to go and watch your team, not force yourself. But because we were playing, we were giving away goals, silly goals, like, and not getting off the pitch, and it was tough. It wasn't enjoyable to watch, and football should be enjoyable, let's be honest. But
Things didn't get any better on the pitch, and now fans starting to question the possibility of relegation. Swans only start a few points off the relegation places. Negative results against Luton, Middlesbrough, etc. followed the Blackburn result, and but it was after that point that we could start seeing some change with Bristol City up next.
How important was it turning things around from January?
Massive. Like, I think this is where Russ really shows his character. Like he said, oh, you know, after the January window, I put my head down, and you know, he blames himself for a lot of things. But even that shows emotional intelligence that can save a dressing room, that can save a football team, that can, you know, do a lot. And I think part of the ending run, and part of why we got the results we got eventually, were because he said, right, all right, let's do what we got to do. Because a lot of managers out there would have been way more spiteful about it.
How important was turning things around from January?
it was huge. It was huge because at the end of that win-loss run, it was getting to the point where we were saying, oh, if we don't pick things up, it's a possibility we could get relegated. Like that.
Yeah, because it was a question.
It was, yeah. But from that point onwards, it was huge getting those wins, and it was about getting getting the trust in Martin back. I mean, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's got that trust yet. But when those wins started coming in, I was all for it. I was all for it.
Then came a time when fans started to believe in the process again after a difficult few months. Russell had really been planning something when Bristol City came to town, and we showed them and the rest of the championship how really good we can be. Fans quickly to get back on board with Russell Martin's system just before a vital South Wales derby arrived.
See, for me, that Bristol City result indicated that something was coming, right? For me, Bristol City have always been like a bogey team for me, and I've always thought like games have been close. Do you know what I mean? And
Especially the FA Cup game away.
yeah, the FA Cup game, and then games are always a bit cagey against Bristol, I would say. But then, when we beat them, it was a clear 2-0, wasn't it? Yeah, 2-0. As strong as we did, I just started thinking. It didn't calm the nerves for the game that was coming afterwards, but it made me think.
So how vital was the Bristol City win going into the South Wales derby at the end of the season?
So vital, because playing them for the 4th time this season, that game, and drawing 2 and losing 1, we had to put things straight there, I guess. And to win that game and then set us up nicely for the South Wales derby then for the following week or whatever. It was important, really important. It got players in the right mindset then, I guess, and got them up and ready.
The Bristol City result was very vital, with the ultimate test still to come. On April 1st, 2023, we took on Cardiff City away with the chance for Russell to really prove the doubters wrong and get the fans back on board with the process, which is something he wanted to take up.
It was everything, wasn't it? I think that's why a lot of people weren't, they weren't saying well, yeah, we're gonna smash Cardiff, even though it was very likely.
I touched up against that briefly, but after that Cardiff game, it's important to get as many people to trust him, I guess, because I know a lot of Swans fans, they've been, Russell out for this the whole season.
It was a game of two sides dominating certain spells of the game, but as always, Swans took the lead through Joe Pro in the 3rd minute, giving us hope in the away end, with the Swans fans going into absolute carnage.
And we started the game perfectly, didn't we? It was just like nothing had happened since the last time we played them, since the last 3 times we played them.
So yeah, my first South Wales first away derby. So Paulo cutting it in near post. No one expected to go in. When it went in, everyone was sort of like, did that go in? Oh yeah, it did go in, and everyone was.
After Pro's opener sealed the opener for the Swans, Liam Cullen bagged a 33rd minute goal to seal the Swans' hopes of getting that quadruple done. But after that, Jaden Philogene then took it into his own hands and justified Cardiff's hopes of reaching that goal of beating us in the South Wales derby, and caused 2,000 fans a nail-biting experience in our way end.
Paulo to hit it off the post and then leaving it for Cullen. At that time, it was such a vital goal going into half time. We sort of needed that goal then to what we thought was to be okay, yeah, now we've got this sorted. Going to half time now and hopefully bag a couple more in the second half. But at that time we thought that we had won that easily. We were living, we were calm. Cardiff's first, right off the back of Cullen's goal. So annoying to watch. He sort of just walked past our defence, so frustrating looking back on it.
I think he's just let it slip.
Yeah. Yeah. In fairness, I don't know the name of the guy that scored. Right. No fairness, he managed to do well to get.
Unfortunately, the Swans' hopes were deflated at that time. In the 78th minute, Sorry Cardiff's on-loan striker, got the equaliser, with the Swans having to figure out something quick. They had to act fast if they wanted to get the winner, with Cardiff also hoping they could go on and get the 3 points.
First half going, oh my God, we got this is perfect. Day in the sun, day in Cardiff, absolutely battering them. And then all of a sudden we're reminded of the season that we're having. Cardiff scored 2 goals and it gets late. And we were just like, yeah, well, of course, this is the season now, isn't it? This is Swansea City 22-23.
Yeah, not obviously ahead though, innit? So, as soon as it went to 2-1, I knew that there would be a chance of another goal for them. But when that goal went in, my head dropped to the floor, and I didn't think that it would get to the point where we'd be drawing. I thought from the first half we'd be sailing away with it, but yeah, I mean, they got that second goal. I mean, could the defence have done better? We don't know.
Like I said, we had to act fast. Set piece after set piece, they were all cleared off, like Matt Grimes' effort, which hit the bar in the 88th minute. We had to act fast, but luckily for us, Cedric Kipre fouled Jamie Patterson on the edge of the box.
We give the game away. We do brilliant in the first half. We're a good enough team and we don't take the opportunity. That's why everyone was so on edge. 2-2.
Yeah, all talking. I was like that to my dad, oh, who's going to take it, who's going to take it? And then I thought Piro was going to take it. When I saw Fulton step up to it, I was like, okay, you know what, we might have a chance.
It was then decided who'd take the free kick. It was then Jay Fulton who stepped up, slammed it against the wall, then hit it again, hit the post. All Swans fans' hearts dropped when it fell to Latabodia, who then squared it to Cabango for the ultimate and penultimate goal. It was Cabango 99, it was the double-double that then sealed the win for the Swans at the Cardiff City Stadium.
And the Ben Cabango goal, like that, I saw people crying. I literally saw people crying, because it was almost like, you know when you see in a film when people wipe a curse away, or like they lift a curse. It was like that. It was like, no, we get the late goal, we get the late winner, we, like, oh my God, it was amazing.
Do you know what? I seen you after the game and I don't think I've ever seen you so happy to see you.
I know, yeah. Oh, it was amazing. I couldn't,
I just see
buzzing.
You looked absolutely mind blown. You were
like, it was, honestly, I keep saying it was the best day of my life. And like, it was almost like Bristol was a taste of it, but that was the moment where we turned it around. And what a moment to do it, like. Oh, after all the just crap goals we'd given away, after all the last minute losses, like, to just like dig our feet in and go, no, Cardiff, there's no way. Bang.
God's sake. I thought that was it for us then. And then rebounder, and then hitting the post. I thought it had gone in, and then once that hit the post, I was like, oh, we should have won this. We shouldn't have let them get back into this. And then Cabango to tap it in for the goal. If I could choose one moment to relive in my life, it would be that moment. It was such a clap.
It was some day for the Swans, who clearly knew they could go on and do the job after that Bristol City win. But it was difficult, but it's nothing Russell Martin hasn't done before, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it was like, I mean, I wasn't there last year because I couldn't get tickets. But like, it was amazing to do the double, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think this year everyone was like, double, if we get it, it doesn't matter. But if we get it, brilliant. You know, to get it in that fashion, there were people who've been to every game for the last like 4 years, last 5 years, yourself, right?
Yeah.
But they were saying that's the best game ever.
You know, overfed in the 6th minute to the back with an
Yeah, I mean, last season's, I mean, who'd have thought that we'd score 4 past Cardiff? I mean, no one was expecting that really, but I think this year tops it really, I guess.
After a successful Derby Day win, we returned home against Coventry City with a packed out Swansea.com stadium since the first time since in the Premier League. Shows the fans were clearly back on board with what Russell Martin was doing and what he was bringing to the Swans again after such a dry spell.
How good was this in a packed out at the Coventry game?
Good, yeah. I mean, like, it was expected because, like, with historic results, and I guess things turning round the way they did, it was possibly the most dramatic way they could have, but I think seeing a full stadium, or at least a nearly full stadium for a game that isn't Cardiff was nice.
Since Premier League days.
It's mental. I mean, you sort of expected to have a lot more attendance after the Cardiff game. We all expected that.
From 7-6 here.
We were getting the positive results we wanted. Fan moods were really sky high. The following results came against Huddersfield, Wigan, Norwich and Preston, which were all followed. And now the fans were starting to question whether from relegation to now the potential push of the playoffs. It was a miracle of the Championship. The season then ended with a very good win against West Bromwich Albion, who were at one point in the day 6th place after they chased the playoffs. But what really was the highlight of the day was the togetherness shown in the lap of appreciation, with the fans stood with their families in front of the East Stand for about 20 odd minutes as the East Stand chanted away at them.
We need left back as well as right now, but whatever.
Finally,
Go on.
how important is it that the fan base sticks together for the next season?
Massive, but in true Swans fashion, they'll just go back, they'll keep going at each other. Like, we've got a fan base that, you know, like, is quite opinionated, quite sort of, you know, heavy on the arguments, but I don't know, I don't think I'd have it any other way, do you know what I mean? Like, they're just all outspoken, brash, loud, and know what we want from Swansea. So I'm not criticising our fan base at all, but I would love to see more of what I felt and saw at Cardiff and what I felt and saw at Bristol, and like when we play Bristol away, do you know what I mean? Like those days, like as much as I know they're the close games, or West Brom rather, that was probably another good one. Like what I feel on an away day is kind of what I want for going into the next season, and it's why you do them. You go on one away day and it's just a different type of thing.
How important is it that the fan base sticks together ahead of the next season?
Vital. I mean, we need to do everything we can as a fan base to back Martin if we keep him. Obviously, I would love to keep him so much. I mean, I love his style of play. I love everything that he's done for us. I love the passion he gives to us Swans fans.
Go. And that's it. That's it for another season. It's gone by like that. It's been one hell of an experience for Russell Martin's men this year. With the highs and lows of the season, those last minute winners, those Derby Day doubles, it's all come and gone like that. But who knows what happens next season? Will Russell Martin stay? Will Paulo go? Will Manning go? But one thing I know for certain is that if that man stays, I trust Russell to take us back where we belong.
I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left. am.